So, by popular demand, fast forward 2 years and we are back. We've got Finn behind the lens. That, what you've just seen, is my current setup. Day in the life, 6 weeks out from the regional. It's, by the looks of things as well, it's going to be one of the most stacked regionals ever. I think in my class alone there's 3 overall winners. So nothing like chucking yourself in at the deep end, Finn. Nothing like getting after it. So the aim is, ideally, we do the regional, which is 6 weeks. 2 weeks after that, there's the NPC European, which is obviously the first opportunity to get the pro card. And then we're just going to go back to back. There's Sweden after that. I think the week after there might be France. There's obviously Milan, which is another massive show. And then there's one back in the UK. So obviously we'll probably just keep going, keep building that experience up. We are at the Mecca as usual today. Got a big push session with Jessica, which I am very excited about. Aim, obviously, this year, and I know I keep talking about the pro card, and it's all well and good people talking about the pro card, but there are levels to this game. I think, from a realistic perspective, it would be fucking wicked to take a class win, get in the overall, and then just see how we fare up from there. But you can't go into this game with anything other than the mindset to win, win, win. And that's obviously what we've got to have. So we're going to get after it. We're going to do a little bit of talking along the way, not too much because energy levels are a little bit low. But I'll give you guys a little bit of info throughout the session. Let's fucking go. So I know a few of you guys, because I do get messages asking what I have intra and pre-workout. So made by the lovely Jessica. We've got 20 gram EAAs, 10 gram cyclodextrin, 10 gram creatine, 5 gram glutamine. Correct. So that's intra workout. With your intra workout drink, if you're having a carbohydrate based meal too close to your training window, intra workout carb is going to be irrelevant. It's pointless. You've got to make sure that pre-workout meal that we've just had is in around an hour before. So make sure it's going to help digestion as well. And what you're looking for with your pre-workout food is it needs to be digested, so that obviously the blood flow isn't going to your intestines to digest the food, it's going to the muscle and tendon. You're always going to get more out of your training by doing this. And then pre-workout, so I've got to shout out Jonathan and the gang, Illegal Sups, Illegal Nutrition. They've actually got a lot more stuff coming out as well. Weirdly enough, tomorrow he's dropping 2 more products. He's got electrolytes coming out, and he's got, what was it? I can't remember now. I forgot what it is now. But yeah, wicked products, honestly. Since I've been doing this game, especially with the pre side of things, a lot of the stuff that you do get is nasty. You get a big come down off it, a big crash. He genuinely does have a passion for this game. He's going to be, well, Illegal's going to be, and Jonathan's going to be supporting me throughout prep. So massive shout out to the gang. And I know he probably won't like this, but I can't lie, I have actually been having a slightly different brand for my pump side of things. So I've been having Gas Mark 10, fucking banging, absolutely bangs. Don't usually have a pre-workout when I'm in off-season, but obviously when your food starts to lower, energy levels do start to decrease, even though we have nailed this prep. It's always good to have that little boost so that obviously training stays and remains in a good position. So I'm going to get this down us, and then we're going to get after it. Big session, let's fucking go. So don't neglect the importance of warm-up sets. Obviously band work, for me now, it's a lot more, I wouldn't say I'm old, Finn, but obviously we're getting to that point now where it's a little bit more about longevity. I see a lot of these younger guys really do neglect this, me being one of them, and ever since I have done this, touch wood, niggles, injuries have been pretty good. We spend about 10 minutes pre-workout, just making sure we're nice and warm going into our sets. And then what I will do now is, obviously for a push session today, chest focused, I will always start on a isolation movement just to get plenty of blood flow in and around the area. So pec fly, and then we go into his presses. And obviously on the flip side, if it was a delt focused day, we'd start probably on more of a side lateral movement
just to get a little bit of blood flow in the area, and then obviously starting your press in that session. So don't neglect the importance of your band work.
So first set down, what you'll notice at this time, 6 weeks out, I'm not training beyond failure. And the reasoning behind this is just to keep fatigue management at bay. A big mistake I made in 2022 when I competed was pushing. And all that actually ends up doing is building a hell of a lot of fatigue up, putting that fatigue onto your body. Body will just stop responding, whether that be scale weight, or you just start to get into that state what you can't get out of. So training beyond failure at this stage is just pointless. So my aim, obviously with the logbook, is to come in realistically at this phase and just ensure that I'm at least maintaining my numbers. Because then in theory, not only do I know that I'm going to be retaining tissue, but I also know that obviously my energy expenditure is going to be at that persistent level. So at this phase, all I want to say to you guys is more isn't always more. That's one big mistake that people make. They start getting closer and closer, especially from a first time perspective, and pushing. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to push, but sometimes overly pushing will have a negative impact overall. Just a quick one off topic. Obviously, in the Mecca, you've got to keep facility standards up. So all kit is now being repadded. I just want to shout out Jay for obviously all the work. But that's the key with a gym. You've got to ensure that you keep on top of your standards. People like training in clean facilities nowadays. So you've obviously got to set that standard from the top. Let's fucking go. So quite an important point, obviously, Jess doesn't want to be training chest, but if you do obviously have different weak areas and you've got a training partner, then obviously you can still make things work. So obviously, as you can see, I'm going to be doing like the low incline, which is obviously a lot more chest focused. Jess is obviously going to be training a little bit more delt, so obviously we just move the settings of the bench. So this is just to let you guys know that you can obviously make things work with your select training partner, even if you do have slightly different movements. I feel like a big mistake that people make is rushing into the sets too quickly. So I've done this for this game for quite a while now, trialed and tested all different styles. And your aim with training is to be getting the most out of your maximum weight in that desired rep range. So for me, I've just done my top working set, which was an 8 to 10 rep range. Now I like to pull the load down about 20%, so just a little drop off and aim for a little bit more volume. So for me to go into the next set straight away is not going to achieve the most out of that set. What I'm looking for is breathing to get back to normal, blood flow to have left the muscle, and what I usually look at is my heart rate. So when your heart rate's back to a relative level, obviously I've got an Apple Watch, that's when you know realistically you're good to go in. This only really happens through experience. Obviously the more you learn and the more you know when to go in. But what I would say is don't neglect rest times, especially for them second sets. So obviously in the Mecca, as you'll know now by the video, me and the big brother Jack, we've got some more equipment landing. So I don't actually know if I'm 6 weeks out from the show or if I'm waiting 6 weeks for this new kit to come, because I can't fucking wait. You've got some great new pieces coming to the Mecca. This facility, like we said from day one, will just keep giving and giving and giving back the more you guys give to us. So it will always be a work in progress. So just a little tip for you guys during your pressing movements. So weirdly, as crazy as this sounds, when you're on pressing, chest, shoulder movements, it actually starts from your feet. So you want to make sure that your feet are compounded. Then, obviously, you're going to get more out of your pressing because momentum on the floor is compounded. The only thing that's moving is obviously that area intended. I see a lot of people like with the feet up and cross-footed and not really pressing hard through the feet. What you'll notice with me as well is, especially on a delt movement, I don't actually have it on a full rotation. So I like to have it slightly obviously reverted, or if I'm doing like a shoulder press like we're doing now, I'll slide my glutes a little bit further down the pad so it takes a lot of strain off realistically front delt and rotaries and puts it more across that top line. All this is going to do is save your rotary cuffs. You've got to think, like I said at the start of the video, well, the training video anyway, this game is about longevity, and for the amount of development that you might lose is not worth the amount of longevity that you'll lose. So, touchdown, Casa del Tatham Mansion, post-workout meal going in. What I would say to you guys is just make sure you give yourself plenty of time after you've trained before you consume your post-workout meal. You want that central nervous system to relax before obviously you start taking the foods in, because they won't digest as efficiently. So we've got 50 gram isolate, we have got 100 cream of ice. I like to put a bit of frozen fruit in there. I'm going to show you guys later on how I make this meal because I have to make it the day before. And then we've also got Unwind, Bosch. I don't massively believe in too many supplements that are not needed. This is something that I swear by, especially because I train fairly early in the day. It's just something that pulls a bit of stress and fatigue management off. It has got ashwagandha in. I know a lot of you guys can relate to that, and it really does just unwind you, as it says. Makes you really chill out, and obviously I've got some work to do this afternoon, so it is very much needed. And finally, this is the GOAT of prep water. It's probably one of my only luxuries. We actually get it. Finn's trying to focus. We get it from Iceland, which is crazy. I probably shouldn't tell people that because it'll all be sold out now. Pretty much 0 calories, but it just tastes absolutely unbelievable. And it does help with them cravings, and we all know that water is a bit of a stomach filler when you are feeling a little bit hungry. So I'm going to enjoy this now, and then obviously we'll finish off the day. So finally can get back to some solid work. Just to give you all a little bit of a time scale of what the actual time is. It's 1 o'clock now. So back in the laboratory, finishing off any programming, any new clients who I've got to obviously set up, and also any late check-ins. Naughty boys for you guys who've checked in a little bit later. So I'll crack on with that now, just before next meal goes in, and then we're probably around just after that next meal we'll be looking at getting a few more steps in just to wrap up output for the day. So I'm going to get to this. Might as well have a coffee depending on how I'm feeling. Obviously in off season I would never really consume caffeine past around 2-3 o'clock, but obviously things are slightly different at this stage, so maybe have a coffee depending on how I'm feeling, or maybe not. Sometimes I will have a decaf, which you all know kind of does the same job without the high. So I'm going to get some work now, and I'll catch you guys at the next meal. So in the Tatham kitchen, next meal going down is going to be, we've got 2 turkey bacon, we've got 2 chicken sausages, all of this from Lidl by the way. We've got 2 whole eggs, 100 gram of mushrooms, dash of pink salt. One thing in throughout your prep dieting phase, you want to try and keep your salt intake at a consistent level. You don't want to be having more towards the end, you don't want to be having less, but you do want to keep that in. It is something when you do start to get leaner will help. It does actually help keep pumps at the gym. If you do have salt and you pull it out just as a trial, you'll notice that you struggle to get that little bit of fullness. And then obviously the 1 cal spray. Just try and keep calories as low as possible, because we're at that point now where we're trying to rein things in. So I'm going to get this meal underway. Here's going to be one that I made earlier. So just a post-workout meal, I get a few questions on how I actually make that meal. It's so easy. Obviously cream of rice, Bosch, we sell that at the Mecca, get some from the Mecca, nice and cheap. And then at the moment I am taking isolate. Obviously it does digest a hell of a lot better, and you do want obviously isolate purer protein during prep phases. If you're just in a normal regular holiday diet, I think just normal whey is more than applicable. So you'll see a lot of people try and volumize the meals. For me, the problem is with that, you're only volumizing with water, and I do feel like it takes a lot of the taste away from the flavouring of the meal. So I don't really like to volumize too much. So pretty basic, I'll just go through it now. All you'll do, you don't actually want boiling kettle water. So what I do is I'll boil the kettle, I'll just show you now, and then I'll just put a little bit, you can see the steam coming out of it, that's too hot. So I'll just put a little bit of cold water in the kettle. Always want a fork, Bosch, always a fork. And then all you'll literally do, just move this out of the way, is just slowly add your water and just keep stirring. Stir your life away, Finn. Keep stirring. And you'll just get a nice flat consistency. Try and rush through it. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Just while we're here as well, look. Do not fucking miss. We never miss. Keep stirring.
Bosh, bosh, bosh. Yeah, then get all your oil through, just get all the lumps out of it. Get all the powder mixed together. Honestly, them 2 flavours as well, I have cookies and cream. So, absolutely bang. Salt and caramel's always a good one as well.
Bosh. There you go. That's your consistency. You just literally drop that in the fridge overnight. Obviously, you'll get that lovely texture that I showed you earlier for post-workout. We're back feels like just a minute ago. Next meal going in. So we've got 2 bagel thins this meal. Obviously salad, I have tomatoes, lettuce, cucumber. People who follow me on Instagram will see this meal because I post the shit out of it because I love it. 150 gram cooked weight chicken. Bit of advice as well for you lazy people. Make sure you get yourself an air fryer. This is from Costco. We will put kilo and a half straight in. It takes 20-25 minutes to cook. You just need to do 1 turn, and that's going to last you literally 3-4 days. That lasts me and Jess literally 3 to 4 days. That's for 2 of us, and we both have quite a few chicken meals throughout the day, especially Jess. So don't be lazy, get your meals prepped. Just going to nip out now to finish steps for the day, and then we shall be back. I think we've got, after that, will be 1 more meal. So just finishing off output for the day. It's now actually 4 o'clock, which is usually about on schedule. Few more client replies to get through. When you are in dieting / prep phases, and I've said this before, it is quite efficient if you can find a walk that you know how many steps you're doing, because you don't want to be going out and doing a crazy amount of steps. It is repetitive. Bodybuilding is repetitive. Obviously you do want to be mixing things up a little bit, but if you can find that walk that gives you the perfect amount of steps so that you are obviously in routine, you know what your output is day to day, it will make prep a hell of a lot more efficient. If you're doing 20,000 steps one day and 10 the next day, obviously it's going to show on your scale weight, and for someone like me who has got a weight cap, it can make all the difference. So we're just going to finish off now, and then I usually grab a quick shower. Well, quick shower, it's never a quick shower,
it's never a quick shower.
It's never a quick shower. That's my only private time. And then yeah, it'll be last meal, get the PM sups in, and then get ready to do it all again tomorrow. So guys, that is a wrap. Full day in the life, boxed. Jess is just cooking final meal, bless her, which is going to be chicken, 150 gram and veg, basically. We're on poor man's portions now, just to get through this last bit and get that weight off to hit that weight cap. Obviously we're still sitting around 8 pound above the cap, which is more than applicable at this time scale, 6 weeks out. Just wanted to end the video as well on saying the importance of having people around you to do this. Not only financially do you need to have obviously that side of things, but also people around you that do help you do this. You physically can't do this on your own. Like tonight, I'll be honest with you, my legs feel like absolute lead, absolutely smoked, but it is getting to that point now. So obviously, luckily I've got Jessica to help me, which is an absolute fucking godsend. But you do need that support, and you also, like I say, financially, there's a lot of people currently in this day and age who are rushing into shows. Not only do they not have the tissue, but on the flip side, they don't have the financial side to be able to do this. It's not a cheap sport, guys. It's a very expensive hobby. For someone like myself, obviously, it's kind of a career. I make a living out of this as well, so obviously that does help. But on the flip side, make sure you're ready. The stage is going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? The stage is going absolutely nowhere. Make sure you learn to fall in love with the process to start with, before just running and jumping in at shows. So that being said, night stack. Now, same as I said earlier, I don't usually advise a hell of a lot of supplements, but supplements that are needed 100%. So I have a lot of my vitamins at night time, I'll be honest with you, because I'm in more of a routine of doing so. I have obviously Love Heart, trained by JP, which is an absolute amazing supplement when you get blood work done. Great mainly for cholesterol. It does work, obviously I've seen it in my blood work. That's one thing, and one thing that I would only advise if I've had it and I've seen obviously the results. I'm a big advocate of that. Don't just be throwing supplements at clients willy-nilly when you've not tried and tested it yourself. And it's the same with the process. Like, I wouldn't take realistically someone who's going to the Olympia because really I've not got that experience. Would I take obviously someone to compete? Yes, because I've done it. Obviously I had a few guys who I turned Ryan pro last year in WMBF. I've had Chris last year who did amazing. I've got a lot of guys competing next year, but I just feel like with this whole industry, you've got to kind of practice what you preach. There's no real answer to trying to take people to certain places if you've not been there yourself. You've got to kind of go to them extremes. So for me, like holiday clients now, people who just want to get in shape for holiday, as much as I dread to say, it is easy. Like, it is easy because obviously I've been in above that level, so I know what extremes you can push people to. So I think that is quite a big thing. Obviously Dream Sleep, this I'm not kidding you, is probably one of the best supplements I have ever taken. My sleep within 30 minutes is perfect, and that's 6 weeks out from a show. So if people are struggling with sleep, that is something I do definitely recommend. And also with that, for the night stack, I have ZMA. Same again, this brand, it's not really a big brand, but it's something that I know works. Pro Elite, that's called, and it's not too expensive either. So you've always got to look out for that. I think that's a wrap, Finn. We've got obviously 6 weeks to go. I'm looking at potentially every 2 weeks getting the main man, Finn, behind the lens on board, just to get a few more day in the lives. We might even look at getting the peak week. We're definitely going to look at getting one of the shows on there just to take all you guys along the journey. So for those who have lasted this long, thank you for watching, and roll on the next one. Let's fucking go.